Eating.
Okay, so I feel we were just saying welcome to Empower Leads team call because we are teaming up with Kelly and Laura and Kelly tonight. And I think that moving forward, we're going to be combining forces for a lot of calls. So we're just going to say welcome to our team call for April 25th. Uh, combining forces, I just think there is so much power and strength and energy in numbers and just in a diversity of leaderships and topics to be shared. So we talked a lot on our trip about things that we can better do to kind of move our team forward, rally the troops, and just really have a kick-ass year together. So we're excited. I'll share with you guys tonight. And Kelly actually had a really awesome idea just to kind of break down the simplistic basics of achieving goals in the business, which I feel like is something that we've talked about in the beginning of the year, but I think it's something that we kind of have to go back to and revisit different times throughout the year because it's important. And the guts of the business and the guts of what it takes to see change and hit goals and achieve things are always pretty much the simple basics. So simple that it is sometimes easy to kind of get clouded or over bombarded with trainings and information and resources because we are blessed to have so many of them that sometimes we lose sight of what it really takes to move your business forward and grow and achieve goals that you have for yourself, if that makes sense. So we kind of just wanted to talk about those things tonight. And we also decided that this is going to be kind of a two-part call where this week we talk about the kind of foundation of success and the basics and your goals and your why behind your goals and the importance of that. And then we're going to do another call to follow talking about kind of bigger grand scheme goals of volume and income and rank and things like elite and premier, so that there is an understanding of that because there are people pushing for bigger goals now. And we just want to make sure that we're kind of covering all of the basics and the bases that need to be covered. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in, ladies, to the whole why part of this, and then we can go ahead and cover all of the basic stuff. So I wrote this down when I was thinking about this earlier, that the why is the fuel that drives the how. And I say this because without having some type of why or some type of reason that this is important to you, it is very hard to stay the course and stay motivated and bounce back when you miss goals or when someone quits or someone cancels or something happens or you have a shitty day or you get rejected or whatever it is. Like, basically having a solid why and an emotional reason backing your goals is what makes you bulletproof to any of the not fun stuff that happens when you run a business. Because let's be real, it's not always easy, right? And it's not always easy to be consistent, and it's not always easy to stay motivated. But having that bigger picture and that bigger why backing it helps you greatly achieve the how. Does that make sense? Okay, so obviously that's going to be a little different for everybody. And if that's not like something that you feel like is clear to you now, I definitely suggest kind of taking some time and like sit down and maybe journal and reflect and think about where you want your life to be in a year from now or 5 years from now, or how you want to feel different. Or are there things in your life that you want for you and for your family or your time schedule, or any of the factors in your life that are facets in your life that are important to you, that are things that are within reach if you hit goals to move towards them. I know for me, a lot of my why in the beginning was very desperation oriented. And that's not always the case. And sometimes I find that it might be harder to just pull off of inspiration, especially if you're comfortable. I see a lot of times that the people say they want to be full-time coaches, but they don't yet understand what it takes to be a full-time coach. Or perhaps you really like your job and you're really comfortable with your circumstance and your income and the safety and the stability and all that stuff. And maybe you don't ever want to be a full-time coach, but you need some kind of a why and some kind of a reason to push for goals in the business, right? I think that no matter what that why and motivation is coming from personally, that it has to be something that motivates you to push outside the comfort that you live within right now. Because without that, it's just really easy to stay where you're at. It is. It's natural as humans to just kind of to chill in the land of comfortable, right? But magic in your life doesn't happen just by staying comfortable. And you're also not really seeing the potential that your life could look like if you're pushing yourself out of it little by little. It doesn't happen in leaps and bounds. It doesn't happen you just wake up one day and hit massive goals. It is the day in and the day out little consistent things that really get you to see true change and transformation in your life. So we wanted to talk more about the importance of not only having that why, but how it fuels your how, and then making sure that that aligns with you, with the time that you want to put in, with are you being realistic about the work it's going to take if you have big goals? Are you willing? Are you eager to grow? Are you willing to learn how to be disciplined and consistent? Do you feel passionate and excited and inspired and just fired up to pour into your business and make time for it every day, right? And with that said, we're going to talk about the basics that are the things that no matter whether your goal is just to pay for your Shakeology every month, or if your goal is to be, a 2-star diamond coach by the end of the year, or eventually a full-time coach or something along those lines, why these basic minimum benchmarks are so important. Because they truly are, no matter, like I said, no matter what your goal is, they are what compounds month after month after month, that a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, makes all of the difference in your life, right? So I just want to touch on this, and we're going to kind of get back to this later on, but making sure that you're clear on an end of year goal for yourself, an end of year goal being like a big, scary push goal. If you're not really sure on what that should be for you with the pace that you're working and the time you want to put in and what you want to see happen, you can post it in the comments if you want, or you can say, like, I'm not sure if this is right for me, or ask one of us to help you kind of gain clarity on that. That's totally fine. We're happy to do that. And then also taking that big end of year goal and breaking it down into smaller short-term action goals with actionable items that you can take to get there. Because, for example, really fast, it's really intimidating if you're like, I just want to be a 2-star by the end of the year, but you don't really know what it takes to be a 2-star diamond coach, right? Like, you have to be hitting Success Club. You have to get yourself to diamond. You have to be sharing the coaching opportunity. You have to bring on some active coaches that are interested in the business. And then you have to help at least one coach on your left leg and on your right leg become a diamond coach, right? But it might not be that every single coach you bring into your business wants to be a diamond coach or wants to push to that level. So you have to factor in that sometimes those smaller goals and actionable items you're going to be setting are that you're kind of shooting for certain numbers in hopes that it's going to give you the outcome that you want. Does that make sense? But that's why, like, setting a big goal and not breaking it down, it's so vague and it's so far away that oftentimes we don't do the work daily to actually get ourselves there. And I can tell you this has happened to me so many times. It takes getting kicked and put on your ass a few times to really learn that things have to be broken down. So with that said, we're going to talk about basics tonight. And the first one is about the importance of being coachable and resourceful. So does anybody want to pop in here and share about this?
I can. I think in terms of being resourceful, in the beginning of this process, a lot of, especially with new coaches, you want to know everything right away. And you want to know all of the answers to all of your questions immediately because you have potential customers asking you questions. You have, maybe other newer coaches asking you questions, and you sort of get moments where you panic and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And one of the most important things you can do is use your resources. So if you don't have a success partner, you need to get one. It's one of the best things that I ever did. Laura, when I started, was working full time. I couldn't be texting her at all hours of the day, asking her like random questions like, hey, why didn't my Success Club points show up yet? It's things like that. It's like little questions where you don't know the answer because you're new, and you're not supposed to know them because you're new. And it's really about being able to know what your resources are in the first place. So that's something you guys need to take a lot of your learning into your own hands. So if you don't know the answers to your questions and you also don't know the methods in which you can find them, that's something you need to get with your coach on is, hey, what are my options out there when I can't get a hold of somebody and I need to find out an answer to something? You guys have to take a lot of that learning independence and run with it. And I figured that out early on, was that, you know, the coach, the chat, online chat was like one of the best things ever. I was like on that 24 hours a day. I was working with my success partner all the time. She and I would go back and forth. I swear I was like hiding in the bathroom at work, like texting with my success partner, being like, and I can't wait for her to come back, by the way. But like just being like, I don't know what to do. What do I say to this person? Did you like this post? Does this picture look weird? Like literally everything, because you guys have to understand at the same time that your coach has a lot of coaches underneath them. And as much as we want to be able to answer every single question at every point of the day, sometimes it's literally not possible because maybe we don't have our phones with us, or, you know, maybe somebody is working or whatever. So if you can't get with your coach, you need to be able to know your resources out there. There's so many different ways in which you can find the answers to your questions. And that's not to say don't ask us the questions, because that's what we're here for. But also know that there are other avenues if you can't get a hold of your coach, or if you think that maybe it's a question you might have asked before, or you're embarrassed about it, whatever. Like there's so many questions or so many resources for you out there. The other thing, and this is something that I learned really well at my previous job. So I think I came in with a little bit of this, but it's something that's really hard to swallow for people at sometimes. And that's the being coachable, about being, I guess, being able to receive just constructive criticism, and actually take it as something that'll be really good for you and really good for your business. So just if you are struggling with things and you're talking to your coach and they're saying, well, your posts are coming across as, you know, too long-winded or aggressive, or, you know, you're not posting to engage with people, or whatever it is that your coach is giving you feedback on, you need to be receiving that, because the person is your coach for a reason. They've done a good job so far. So they are the ones with the experience, and, you know, take what you want from it and run with it, because that's going to only help you in the long run. So the other thing that I wanted to say about being coachable is that if you are somebody who has been reaching out for help, if you want to succeed, if you've, been doing everything, like asking your coach tons of questions about what it is that, you know, you can do better on, but you're not applying those things, then it's sort of pointless. Like there's no point in doing it if you're not going to take the things from the people who have been successful and do those things. It's pointless. There's so many coaches out there who have been successful. And one of the funniest things about Beachbody is that you don't really ever have to reinvent the wheel. That's why we're on here. We're talking about the basics, and the basics have been the basics since the very beginning of this. You connect with people, you engage with people, you invite them into the journey, and then you coach them through their process. Like it's really simple. And if you're not doing those things, then it's not going to happen. And, you know, you need to be willing to listen to that type of advice, to take it from people who have done it and been successful with it, and really emulate what they are showing you and showing you how to do, because it's also their time that they're providing you and saying, like, look, this works. I promise it works. Do X, Y, and Z, and you will see results from this. It's the same as our programs. We tell our challengers all the time, like, you do the workouts, you follow the nutrition plan, and you drink your shakes, and it will happen for you. It's the same for you guys as coaches. If you do these basics, you listen to your coaches, you remain proactive and passionate about what you're doing, it will work. But if you're not applying those things and you're not doing them, and you know everything to do, but you're not doing it, that's when it doesn't work. So I guess those are my biggest points about being coachable and my basics.
I love that end one. I remember hearing Elizabeth Harkey say that once, of like, don't be a collector of information and feel like you need to know everything. It's more important to like learn something, take action, learn something, take action, learn something, take action, because you can collect all the information in the world, but if you don't take action on it, it's not going to do any good, right? So
can I just add on really fast, small thing to the resourceful piece of it? So I was the queen of when I first started this, guys. So I've definitely, I don't know everything what I'm doing. We're all learning along the way. We're not perfect and we're learning with you guys, but we've definitely, many of us have done the wrong things and learned from it. And we want to share that information with you so that we can kind of get you ahead of the game compared to when we started. I was the queen of posting things that were stupid infomercial stuff that was ridiculous. Did people buy into it? Nope. I was the queen of never getting on team calls, ever. As many times as my coach Laura would say, hey, you're hopping on, like, come on, come join us. I had every excuse in the book. I had to get my kids to bed, valid excuse. I had, activities, I had this, I had that. I never made it a priority, and my business truly showed. I was not hitting SC. I think I might have been the longest person to get to diamond on this team, potentially, because I just wasn't listening to everything that Dana, Laura, everyone was sharing with us. I just thought I could kind of do it my own way, and that wasn't the case. It doesn't have to be a big, I get very overwhelmed very quickly on some of these things, and I had to kind of break it down. It's very simple things. The weekly calls, to get on one call a week. If you can get on any call, to get on this call once a week to be able to learn, because trust me, when we get these amazing coaches to come on and be resources for you all, it's like your weekly team meeting. If you were to walk into your office and say, sorry guys, I'm just not going to go, like, work wouldn't really do well with that. And you probably would have some issues at work. Not to say you're going to get in trouble, and we don't want you to feel that way, but use us and use these calls as a time to really, really learn. Because when I started to make this a priority and say, sorry guys, like, whether either say to my husband, like, I need you to help getting the kids to bed, or you know what, putting my kids to bed a half an hour earlier wasn't going to be a big issue. And they just know, this is my mommy's night of work. I need to do this. And you learn, you grow from this. So use the team calls as much as you can. I know there's a lot of other things, and sometimes people invite me out for whatever's going on in our town, and I often will say no, when it comes to Wednesday nights. If sometimes I just don't get on, I will catch the replay, but it's very rare that I'm doing that. So just try to make those a priority as much as you can. Things come up, but just try. And then the other resources of just within our feed of Empower to Lead or whatever team you're on, ask a question. For instance, like if I'm at work all day and I can't quickly say something, respond to a coach, I don't want you to feel like I'm hanging. It's just, we might not be there. So use the group, because so many people are in here constantly on that they can respond back very quickly to you. And just give yourself small actions each day, whether it's just, I'm going to do one post a day. I'm going to, send 4 invites out. It could be something small, but make a daily checklist, very small, and you can increase as you go. But if you aren't showing up to your job each day, the job isn't going to grow. So if you're going to put your effort in like once a month when you're ready to hit Success Club, it's just not going to work. So try to make it a habit to every day show up and be visible. And I promise things will, you will grow and your team will grow, but you just need to be visible.
I love that. I just want to add with this, you both nailed it. Because somebody in the comments said, is there a list of resources available? But really, guys, it's like your coach, and maybe your coach isn't super active or they're not really coaching anymore. That happens sometimes. You can reach out to your Star Diamond upline.
Well, and to like interrupt, we're all your coaches, you know, like we're all like Dana is my coach, but then we're all like under that umbrella for the most part, I think right now tonight on this call. And like, we're part of your resources, but there's also the FAQ and like Kelly Spencer said, the coach chat, like all of those things there are, and there's YouTube, you guys, there's so much good stuff on YouTube. If you look up some of the top 10 coaches and their YouTube channels, you can find so much training on there. Like it's incredible. So just know all your resources. YouTube is one that people forget about sometimes, but there are a ton of trainings available on YouTube. Sometimes like for team calls, I'll go and watch a YouTube first to like gather my ideas or like figure out my intention for the call and like look at a couple different coaches and the way they might like handle this, you know, whatever I'm trying to teach. So YouTube, just make sure you're looking at like a decent coach, obviously, but like a reputable coach.
And don't ever think that like your direct coach would ever be like annoyed or anything if you went to another coach and asked a question if like you couldn't get a hold of them. I've done that with Laura. Like I knew she was working a night shift, so I messaged Dana, or Kelly and I text all the time with random questions. So like don't be afraid to, you know, if you know that one of us is super busy or whatever, to reach out to somebody else.
Yeah. Hey, Rowan. She looks sleepy.
She was in bed and heard we were doing team call and came down because she wanted to participate. So I let her.
Oh my God, so cute.
Say hi. You can say hi with your voice.
Hi. Before we close off this portion, I just want to throw it out there, guys. Like there is FAQ. You can FAQ and find almost anything. You can call Coach Relations, customer relationships, and they can answer almost any question for you. We have our trainings, we have our team page, we have the national wake up call, we have weekly team calls, we have team drop the cookie calls, which guys, like Elizabeth Harkey is one of the most incredible leaders in the business to learn knowledge from. Like take advantage of those when you can. We have resources like a document. I have all of our team calls, our past team calls in one spot. So if there's something specific, you're like, I need to learn how to overcome objections, or I don't know how to share the coaching opportunity, and it's not something we're talking about in that month, go through our old list of YouTube calls and go find it, or go find a national wake up call that speaks to that. But I think I just want to reiterate what they've said is like, don't be an island. This doesn't have to be something where it's scary and you need to figure it out alone and you feel confused or embarrassed to ask questions, because that is what we have a team for. So does anybody have questions about that, any of that? If you want to write in the comments or unmute. No? Okay. Not for nothing. I think we're a team with some pretty legit, incredible resources. Just toot our own horn for a second. Okay, so the next thing, breaking down. Now, this requires that you know your end of year goal and your short-term goal, because depending what that end of year goal is and what your like current push goal is. Now, just quick, and this is something that we'll probably cover more in portion 2 of this call, but like if you have a goal to be a Star Diamond coach and you want to earn quarterly bonuses, like a 2-star bonus, you need to be aware of what the quarterly dates are, because this business runs in quarters. It's 4 quarters. And to be able to qualify for things like that or get to certain events like new leadership or leadership, things like that, you have to know the dates that go with them. So use that FAQ. And FAQ, what are the qualifications for that? And I can tell you that that's how I missed new leadership my first year, was that I was a week off of the actual dates. And that was a really good lesson for me to learn, of like, know what those are with clarity, because those are going to help you set your monthly benchmarks. And I think we've kind of stressed this, but everyone's goals are significantly different, right? Some of you, we're going to put in this, like, we're going to do these success pods, and they're kind of going to be broken down to coaches that have common goals, common hours that they're willing to work, common, things. But depending what your goals are, you're going to have different monthly benchmarks. Meaning, for example, I can tell you the 2 years that we were an elite team, my goal every single month was to hit a minimum of Success Club 10 and to bring on 3 to 5 new active coaches. Every single month, that was the monthly benchmark that I knew that I had to push for. So for example, if you are wanting to be a 2-star diamond coach by the end of the year, it's probably a good goal for you to say, I want to help 5 new people a month hit Success Club 10, and I want to share this opportunity and bring on 1 to 3 new active coaches, right? And that just breaks it down simply so that you have something that's workable and doable, and achievable every single month, that's going to move you closer to that. So talking about your monthly benchmarks and kind of breaking down what those are once you know what yours are, the common basics that it takes to achieve that beyond being resourceful. So the first one is your commitment to yourself and your wellness journey and your personal growth. Does somebody else want to talk about this, or do you want me to just keep going? Okay. I'm just going to do this one short and sweet because I feel like we are coaches. We know what we do. We are health and fitness coaches. So being committed to your health and wellness journey is so important. Not doing this perfectly, but like, we can't really pour into other people and show what's possible if we're not on that journey and sharing how you feel, your energy, your motivation, your well-being, how it's impacting your family, how it's influencing your health, how, your body confidence is changing, how your clothes fit differently. All of the umbrella of components that come within your fitness and wellness journey, we constantly need to be evolving and showing what's possible. And again, like I said, not perfection by any means, because that's not relatable. But if we're trying to encourage other people to live a happier, healthier lifestyle, we need to be leading by example with that, right? And the second component of that is that without that, I'm sure that you guys have been in a place of your journey where you're just like not really feeling it. You're not really committed to a program. You're kind of slacking on your nutrition, whatever, life happens, but you don't really feel that inspired to post about it, to share about it, to invite to your challenge groups, because there is such a momentum and a driving force that comes from that commitment. Like, how incredible do you feel when you finish a program? Like, everyone that finished 80-day obsession, how like a rock star did you feel when you were like, I'm just gonna post my transformation photos and I feel amazing, right? You want to shout it from the rooftops and tell everybody about what you're doing. That's why that's so important. And also just because this business holds you accountable to putting you and your wellness first. And I think that that's friggin' amazing. There's nothing else that I can think of that calls upon you to constantly work on being happy, being healthy, growing as a person. And with that said, your personal development is a huge component of this. I was talking to Cheryl on a call today and just saying how I personally believe that personal development is one of the biggest determining factors of where you will go in your business, because we all have, limiting self-doubts. We have beliefs we grew up with. We have judgments. We have fear of failures. We have all of this stuff going on in our head all of the time, right? And the basics of the business are simple. It's our minds and our, lack of consistency or our lack of discipline or whatever it is, a bad mood that kind of like tanks your business for a week. Things that get in the way of us truly being consistent and giving our best if we are not constantly staying motivated and fueling our minds and developing our, our outlook and our perspective and our skill sets. And not for nothing, but the more that you grow, the more that you have the ability to pour into other people as a coach and as a leader. So it's obviously massively important. And it just kind of keeps you going and in the right mindset on a daily basis.
Hey, Dana.
Yeah.
Just one thing about personal development. I was talking with one of my coaches the other day, and she was like, I don't know what to post today. And I said, well, what are you reading for personal development right now? Because it's like basically just like a book of things to post about.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm not reading anything right now. And I was like, well, there you go. Go find something, read it, or listen to a podcast, and you will find some sort of inspiration on something to post about.
Yeah.
So, you know, aside from how it helps us like help other people grow, it gives us the inspirations we need to engage with people and connect with people.
100%. She's so cute. All right. So that's enough. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And I can just sum it up in saying, if you've been all in and you've been kind of off, you know the difference of how it feels. So it's important to fight for that feeling of feeling good, of feeling mentally well, of feeling inspired, of feeling positive, of feeling like you have more of yourself to pour out. Like Kelly is saying, like if you have a day that's like super stressful and you just feel really negative, it's like really hard to be on social media, right? But just doing that for your own well-being is so, so important, and your own growth. The next part of this, and Kelly was kind of mentioning this there at the end for a second, but hitting Success Club as being the cornerstone and the foundation of growth in your business, and why power hours are so important. And I would love if somebody else would step up and talk about this, because two of y'all still work jobs, and I think that it's important to see that is something that can be made time for in your routine.
So I think sometimes it can be really intimidating to you guys when people are like, you have to do a power hour every single day. I think that is ideal, and that's awesome for the people that can do that, or like are more organized than I am. I've never really been able to do that. Like I've never missed. I've been in Success Club now for 36 months straight. I've never missed one. So I do it, you guys. I do my stuff, but there might be days where I basically do 3 days worth of a power hour on a day, because I just work 2 12-hour shifts through the night. I have literally zero time, barely any time to like update my story or respond to anything. So like I make it work for my schedule. So what you need to do, like throw out the 7 days a week. Don't like, that's going to overwhelm you and stress you out. Maybe say I'm going to do 5 days a week. And if you can't do 5, then say if I'm going to do 3, I'm going to do a little bit longer ones. Like you have to make up for it somehow. Like you cannot expect to build a business without doing these behaviors is the thing. Like it's really cool to think that you can like quit your job and like go on vacations and all this stuff. But like ultimately this isn't just quick free money. Like you have to work. And so it's just like, if you think about it, like if I was going to do 21 Day Fix and I'm like, but I'm only going to work out on Tuesdays and Sundays, like guys, I'm going to look pretty shitty on day 21, right? Because I will have worked out like 5 days. So that's not going to look so awesome. So imagine your business. It's just like that kind of consistency. Like if there are days that I miss with workouts, I make them up the next day. So if a lot of times I work 2 days in a row, and so then I have to bust my ass the next 2 days because I do have to make up for the stuff that I missed. And like, I'm still reading personal development. I'm still doing my workouts. I'm still drinking my shake, all that stuff, so that I have all the basics down. But you have to like Dana says, you have to find consistency that works for you. If you're not hitting Success Club, there's a reason. Like, I don't mean to be a hard ass, but like something is missing, like, or your conversations are lacking or whatever it is, you guys. But like, there's a reason. You should be able to hit SC6 every single month, no matter what. There are hundreds of thousands of millions of people in this country alone that like are waiting for you to message them. So like, you have to stop freaking out about it. Do the hardest part first. If you freak out about invites, like I still do a lot of the time, do them first. And then do your friend ads, because those are so freaking easy. And then do your like, hashtag searches on IG. Like a lot of this stuff is fun, you guys. I mean, I like did a post about it at one point, but like when I'm super stressed out and then suddenly I've like been searching random hashtags on IG for an hour and I'm like, oh shit, maybe I need to focus. Sorry, Rowan, if you're still there. Okay. you just have to be consistent about it. I can't really ramble on more about it, but find what works for you. If you cannot do 5 days a week, do 3, but you got to make them bigger. You got to commit 1 day of your weekend. I'm sorry. Like, you can't, if you're serious about building a business, you have to get serious about treating it like a business. And it's just like Kelly Riley was saying, you can't just be like, well, I really want to have this awesome job I just got, but I'm just going to like go a couple days a week and like maybe ditch out at like 2 on Thursdays and Fridays because I want to like hang out with my friends. You can't do it. So if you're serious about moving up in the company, about building your business, that's what you have to do, you guys. And like, I'm not always the most consistent, but I've been consistent to where it works for me. And like, the more consistent I am, the more my SC shows for it. So you have to find what works for you, and you have to do it. It just has to be non-negotiable.
I kind of want to just jump in on that.
Yeah.
Just kind of on the opposite end to show like what not to do, for lack of a better term. But like, so when you're a new coach, you're all in, you're excited. I was doing power hours every night. And mind you, I was doing this working full time plus teaching 2 college courses at night. Plus I had a 16-month-old. So it is possible to find the balance. And I was doing it every single night. I was getting on new coach calls with Dana weekly, plus the team calls, plus doing power hours. And I was hitting Success Club every single month. And it was great. And then I got pregnant, and you lose your motivation and you lose a lot of your drive because your hormones are out of whack. And, you know, I kind of slowed down and I didn't do it. And then, you know, there's the postpartum stuff and the depression that comes in and everything. And you're up and down and up and down. And you know what? Once my warm market, you know, my friends, my family, everybody that was like, oh my God, look at you, stopped coming towards me, and it got harder and I wasn't doing it consistently, a complete shift. And now I'm climbing a very rocky mountain to try and get back to where I was. So if you are looking to do this long term and you're looking to make this work for you, don't fall into that hole and let it slip at all, because then you're going to be climbing a mountain for a while and it's going to friggin' suck.
Yeah, it's like if you like are rolling whatever that like analogy is of rolling something up a hill, if you like let go for a minute, you're screwed. So it's
hard to get back to where you were.
You let go for a little bit, and you'll get back up there, but like now you're like kicking yourself like, God damn it, why did I let go of that rock, you know?
100%. And it's hard to get back there. So if this is what you want, you have to be consistent. And I can't even like stress that enough, because I'm the reason, like, you don't want to do what I did.
We talk about this like every day. It reminds me of what Patrick Rillman always says, where he says it's like being on a down go, like walking up a
Wait,
down.
does he say it when he's with Becky or not with Becky?
Stop it. On a down going escalator, and you're like climbing the escalator, and it's like hard work, but you're learning and like you're making moves and you're hitting Success Club, and then like you stop and like like you go back down. Like you don't have to run up the escalator. You just have to consistently and slowly be moving up in that direction, right?
You're going to hit a time when you're going to have to find people that aren't in your network. Yeah. And that's when it really gets hard. And that's when a lot of people tend to give up, because it is hard. And it's not something that comes very easy like it does in the first 6 months.
And
I think it takes a little more attention in building relationships and connecting with people through
exactly,
social media and through your posts and through your transformation. I mean, it's been over 4 years now, like that I have been hitting Success Club. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's harder. It's just,
harder.
It's a shift in the actions that you're taking to be able to be consistent, for sure.
And I think that's another reason why it for those that maybe aren't, then to consider, you know, looking at the Instagram, because you do at a certain point, you run out of your warm market on Facebook. And I find it very hard to reach out to people on Facebook now, because I've been doing this so long that I feel like they've seen me. It's hard to like, I'm finding harder to add people that like I would genuinely want to I don't know, to like connect with. And I feel like Instagram, it is like a whole new ocean that I am like loving just connecting with people. Like I love just like seeing their pictures. I just feel like some of these people, like very quickly I can tell like they're my crew. And thankfully I've had a lot of conversations with people about it, and I've started to get a bunch of people signing up through it. So if you're not on Instagram, that's something to consider at some point. Don't overwhelm yourself, but it is, I feel I can be more open and inviting there versus on Facebook, because I feel like it's more personal there.
I would say too, like for the new coaches on here who maybe are in their first couple months, like it's really, really tempting to just go straight for the warm market when you start. But if you want to really challenge yourself and you really want to push this business, I say start going for the cold market right away, because all it does is make you much more comfortable, and it teaches you how to connect with people that you don't know. Like Kelly was saying, like Instagram is the perfect avenue for that, because it's all cold market. Basically, you search for people by the things that you like and by the things that you find a connection with, and talk to people through that. And it's so much easier to do that through Instagram. So I like, that's what I did from like month 2, is I jumped into cold market right away. Because I just didn't want to feel like I was like bothering my family and friends and being like, hey guys, like help me out here. And I mean, except for my mom, it was like the first one. But other than that, though, it's nice to be able to, like, literally on Instagram, you can find people who like the exact same things that you do. And it's so easy to be like, oh my God, I run with my dog too, or whatever it is. But it's just such an easy cold market avenue.
Kelly, we should actually have you do a call on that some night, because I think that that's a really good topic to talk about, is getting comfortable with your market. So
I love cold market. I find it so much easier to be honest with people that I don't know.
Becky loves the cold market too.
Oh yeah. I was going to say something about Becky and the escalator, and like, I picture Becky like riding on the like, the handrail.
She definitely would be riding up the side.
She wouldn't be on the stairs.
Nobody else understands this, guys.
Really quickly, we have to say, so Becky at the SC trip, her name was Rebecca, but it was this chick who was wasted. She was a coach. She was so hammered, and she was like
So inappropriate.
Handstands on her friends and like standing out of the water and just like crashing with her ass in the air.
Whoever has the video needs to do a screen share.
Oh my God, she was so ridiculous. It was like
Video.
She was acting, and she was drunk all day in the pool. Like, it was like never ending. We were like, Becky's still awake. Like,
She was like doing splits on the stage and like lifting her leg.
She was very flexible.
Twerking.
She's probably very sore the next day.
Yeah, she was just heinous. It was really bad.
So we talk about Becky a lot.
So basically, like, we all were like, what would Becky do? Like, we just, I don't even know how. It just
Becky,
was we were also drinking.
Becky could do anything. Becky was amazing.
Becky was amazing, and she was a lot of amusement for several hours.
Becky's a 10-star diamond.
Totally.
Okay, moving on. Okay, I think we hammered in enough about the power hours, but I really love the way Laura said it, is like, we have always taught to do your power hour every day, but like there are days where you're super busy, or like you're exhausted from your full-time job or parenting or whatever. Like, if you know that, and like you really aren't going to be able to get a power hour in that day, double up the next day. Figure out a consistent way that works for you, because I can tell you that the months that I've struggled, in hindsight, I can look exactly at what I was not being super consistent with, and why it impacted my month the way it did. Because it's always the work that you're doing right now, that impacts the next 2 months coming, right? And the next few months, really. It's the work that you're doing now that's kind of laying the foundation and the groundwork of those relationships and that connection, to where you're seeing it pan out in your business later on, right? So putting in the work now and not being upset if you're not getting instant gratification outcomes, if that makes sense. And I just want to say again, is that there is a file in the team page that I've created of super, super simple basics, the badass basics tracker that is like the bare minimum basics of what you need to be doing daily. And guys, it is so simple to sit down and just crush through that to-do list, and you feel amazing when it's done, and you know that you're doing what you need to do to move your business forward, and you can do it in about 40 minutes a day or less if you're focused when you do it. So go print that out, go print out 4.
Yeah, that's my favorite that I've ever used, is that one. I love it, especially because it includes IG now and stuff too.
So I love it too. I need to be able to check something off to see what I'm doing. It makes me feel so much better in my head. Okay, so the next thing, sharing on social media and connecting, I feel like we kind of already covered that with what we've been chit-chatting about, but just making sure that whether you're on Facebook, you know, and you're adding to your network, or whether you're on Instagram and you're searching hashtags, liking, commenting, following, and engaging new people, growing your network and connecting with new people is so, so vital and so important. And being consistent, sharing on social media. Like, social media is your business storefront. If you have your business doors closed more than 2-3 days a week, people don't know that you are someone that is consistent, that they can trust. They don't know what you're up to. They don't know you're on a journey. They don't know you're a coach. They don't know there's an opportunity to join, right? So people only have an idea of what we're doing by what we put out and what we share there. That stops their scroll and makes them read, you know. And on the flip side of sharing business and journey type stuff, but just sharing who you are and about your life, right? And social media in itself is a whole nother call topic, but going along with hitting Success Club and like those monthly benchmarks, I think personally that this is something that our team as a whole can really work on strengthening in and improving, and that is sharing the coaching opportunity and bringing on active coaches to our tribe every single month. I feel like that is something that is really intimidating a lot of times. But it is something that someone said to me a long time ago, and it just like really clicked in my brain, because sharing posts about coaching have never come easily to me. Is that if you're only sharing about fitness, nutrition, challenge groups, results, things like that, you are only ever going to attract and find people and connect with people that want to get fitness and nutrition, you know, and body results, right? If you want to attract people that are interested in coaching and having more purpose and having more freedom and having more time and having more travel and whatever, all of the things that our opportunity provides, then we have to talk about the coaching opportunity more. And you have to do it in a way that feels good to you, that feels organic to you, that feels like it's you sharing it in a way of connectedness to your story and what excites you about it. Even if you haven't achieved a lot yet, it doesn't matter. You have to put it out there if you want to start getting people interested in doing what we do, right? And also really taking it seriously to utilize the coach sneak peeks that we run. They are such an amazing place, like a resource to put people in that does the simplicity and the explaining of what we do as coaches for you. So you don't have to word vomit all over people, and of explaining what we do, how we do it, why they don't have to be at their goal weight, how much money we make, all of those things. It's as simple as picking 10 to 20 people, you know, in the week prior to the sneak peek that you think maybe it's a challenger that's having awesome results. Maybe it's somebody that's been liking your social media posts. Maybe it's just somebody that you know could benefit from this opportunity just by seeing their life right now. And you're like, I think that this girl could really benefit from having an opportunity like this, or a community like this, or, you know, fulfillment like this, right? And getting over yourself and having the courage to just shoot them a message and say, hey, I have no idea if you've ever considered what I do, but I think you'd be fantastic at it. Would you pop into an event that my team is running this weekend and just check out what we do as coaches? Like, simple, super, super simple, but being intentional about sharing it, right? Does anybody want to add to that, especially you, Kelly Spencer, since you're like the recruiting queen?
I feel like I was not awesome this last month about it, but I think I went on a roll for a while of actually just inviting people to coach first before inviting people to a challenge. Because as coaches, we reap all of the benefits. We get in shape, we get to eat healthy, we get to have the connection. Then we also have the team vibe. We get to make money off of it. It's sort of like the best of all worlds. So I generally will actually, and I think that's Debbie and Monique who are on here. That's what I did with you guys, is I talked about coaching with you guys first before a challenge. Because if you're talking to the people that you connect with and you're talking to the people that you want to hang out with, then those people will also feel the same way about you. And they're going to be your team. They're going to be your tribe. And that's what's going to be most important. And, if somebody who I was completely unlike, and I don't know if anybody's like this on here, so I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's just not me. Like, I don't put on makeup every day. I don't get nice. I'm like literally wearing like plaid and haven't like showered in I don't know how long. But that's like my people, we like to be out in the woods. And, if you're connecting with those people, then it's very comfortable to invite them to coaching first, because you're inviting them to join in part of your world. And if somebody then says to me like, no, that's not for me. Then I sort of scale it back and I'm like, well, would you want to try a challenge? Because it's, and explain the whole challenge group thing. And I actually have a coach who's going to start next week, who's been doing my challenges for a while. And I actually connected with her initially because she's from Vermont. She lives in the mountains. She's like my kind of people. And I talked to her about coaching and she was like, absolutely not. Like, no. And then she approached me last week about it. It was like, I think I actually want to do this. So no matter what you're doing with your teams, you need to be bringing people into your teams that are your tribe, whether they're a challenger, whether they're a coach, because your goal should be to get them to start helping people too. So that's my whole thing with it, that I try to do, is I try to invite people first to coaching. If there's somebody that I know it's like not going to be their thing, but I still think they can really benefit from what we provide, then absolutely I'll invite them to a challenge. But for the most part, I try to really only connect with people that I feel like I am going to like. I mean, Monique and I sat on the phone for like an hour last night, just like gabbing. And I think we maybe talked about like coach stuff for like 5 minutes of it, but that's what you want, is like that kind of atmosphere. So, that's my suggestion to everybody, is connect with the people that you can see yourself hanging out with. Try to invite to coaching first if you think that it's going to be easy. And then my last thing is that, to me, inviting to coaching is way easier than inviting people to a challenge, because inviting to coaching, you can invite them in a way that 100% complements somebody. You're talking about how they are inspirational, how that you love their personality, how you could see them fitting in with your group, whatever. That's all compliments, and it can't go wrong, honestly. Like if you say to somebody like, oh my God, I think you're amazing, like I would love to have you join me, they're going to say nothing. Like the worst thing they're going to say is, oh my God, thank you so much, but no, it's not for me. But inviting to challenges is a little harder for me, because being somebody who's like small, I fear, I get really nervous if I'm inviting somebody who maybe has weight to lose. They may think that I'm offending them or something like that. So for me, it's an easier approach to invite to coaching first and then scale it back. But, it works differently for each person, but that's kind of the way I've been doing it for the past 6 months or so.
I love that. And I just want to say, because I think it's ironic to me that our fears were like total opposite. Like I will invite everybody and their mom to a challenge group, but getting over the fear of inviting to coaching was way harder for me. I think the bottom line of all of that is that inviting in itself, like sending someone a message, is easy. What makes it feel hard is the feelings or the fear that we have behind it, right? So if you want to get more confident and comfortable in inviting, you have to do it more so that it feels more comfortable to you, but you also kind of need to address like what is the underlying fear that's keeping you from inviting if you're not. Does that make sense?
I also want to say though,
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
to like not tooting my own horn, but obviously I'm one of Dana's most successful coaches. And I wasn't really thinking of coaching. Like I just had a really great challenge group. I won a little prize for doing some stupid 80s outfit on Facebook. I was probably the only person that dared to do it. And then like Dana was like, you know, she said the whole thing like, oh girl, you're pretty much already doing it. Like you're responding to people in the challenge group. Cause I totally cheered people on, and she's like, why don't you coach? And I was like, okay, I'll go do it. And I did it. And like, you know, 23 days later, I was a diamond. So like you literally could have these people at your fingertips and you don't know it. So like, especially once they're your challengers, don't be afraid to ask. They may just like the wheels might not be turning because maybe like Dana wasn't posting about coaching a lot. I didn't really know what it was, but she was like, you're kind of doing it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll do it then. That's fine. All right. So like it reminds me when I think of that, it reminds me like I need to be remembering to ask all of my challengers because you don't know who's going to say yes, you know?
And the cool thing about challengers becoming coaches is they already have a belief in what we do because they've experienced the transformation, the community, you know, the experience and kind of felt that from the inside already. So they have more, of the belief in it. You know what I mean? Okay.
And sorry, Dana, oh, I don't know who else was talking.
Oh, I was just gonna say, in regards to reaching out to your challengers, I mean, I've come across, I've definitely reached out to almost all of mine, at least those that have been active. I guess the excuse I get is just that they think that they have to like constantly be posting or like be on, or maybe just they're not as active. I don't know. I find a lot of them are just giving me a lot of excuses of why they wouldn't do this. So
a lot of it is fear though, Mary.
Yeah.
It is fear because I feel like here's something that might be helpful actually. Is that if you ask them if you can share their transformation or share about their story and tag them in it. Because a lot of times if people see the feedback that they get from people in their network and they see the interest and people are like, oh my God, you look fantastic. What are you up to? What are you doing? Whatever. They see that there's a potential of people there for them to help. Whereas if they're just quiet and they don't share anything, they don't really see that. And it makes it more intimidating. It's like being on the ledge and like, here, let me like help you over the edge a little bit. And that always really helps.
Yeah, I've actually done that quite a few of them that I knew that have like pretty great stories. Yeah, I'm just having a really hard time breaking through. And I mean, it just may very well be the fact that, you know, a lot of my challengers have not been as active lately. So that's
and it has to be the timing too. Like some people are going to say
Kelly Spencer just posted.
Yeah.
In the thing, she was a challenger of mine for 18 months until she finally was like, so do you make money doing this? And I was like, uh-huh. And she was like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, I'm going to do it. And literally like she bought a new challenge pack for herself that night. She bought one for her husband and herself the next day and like fucking took off. I mean, she was gone. She's like, all right, peace.
Yeah, I actually have a retail customer who I have been like encouraging to be a discount coach at least for a long time because she's now like an Autumn fangirl, and I even reached out to her again today, and for some reason or another, she's like, nah, not for me. I'm like, come on.
Just ask them to go on a sneak peek. Just let them watch. Like just take home with an open mind. Like this is no strings attached. Just be a fly on the wall and just like listen. Because it's very different hearing from multiple people and multiple stories versus just whatever you're telling them, you know?
Cool.
Okay, and the last thing in terms of basics is I just like want to stress the importance of that you have to be running a challenge group every single month. If you don't have a challenge group running, you have nothing to invite to, right? You have nothing to share about on social media. It's up and coming. But with that said, just kind of planning your month out, and we've had calls about that before, but like knowing like, when is your new coach training starting, when is your prep week going to start, when is your challenge group starting, what kind of content are you going to have for it, when is our sneak peek coming, so that you know what to be sharing about, what to be inviting to, so that it's like a a well-oiled machine, right? And there's always something that you can plug people into for community, for transformation, for whatever it is that they're interested in, right? Now to kind of close this out, I just want to really stress leading by example to the best of your ability. And like we've all said tonight, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it figured out. Like, we're all still learning stuff every day. You might ask us questions and we still don't even know. Like, not being perfect, but being committed to whatever goals it is that you have. Because a lot of times you might feel like, well, I have a few new coaches, but they're not really like interested or moving, right? And like, I think it's a great concept to think, especially when you're new to building a team, of like, I'm going to learn this with you. I'm going to do this with you. Like, we're going to learn this and do this together, right? So it's less scary for you of that weight of like, oh my God, I'm leading somebody else. I don't know everything. It's friggin' scary. It's intimidating, right? And like, let's do this together. Let's grow together. Let's go for this goal together, right? And also, it's just kind of showing them that it's that easily duplicatable, right? It's always those consistent, simple basics. And the coolest part of it is that if you can really learn that and nail those basics, you can teach anybody else how to do it. And if they're eager and they're willing and they have their own goals, they're going to run with you too, right? And it's just one by one by one that you form a large team of people just like you, right? And so just to sum, because I saw a couple of you post in the comments of our team call thread, what some of your goals were. And I just wanted to say a couple simple basic ones is that if you're looking to get your Shakeology paid for and you're a new coach, hitting Success Club 6 is where it's at for getting your own Shakeology paid for, and so that you're slowly building a foundation for your business. So helping 3 people a month get started with a challenge pack. Everyone can help 3 people a month. The second part of this is that if you're someone that is wanting to grow towards bigger goals, say you want to hit diamond fairly quickly, or you want to be a 2-star diamond by the end of the year, and you want to go to New Leadership Conference or be a premier team or things like that, and you also want to grow your income faster, Success Club 10 is where it's at for that. Personally, when my coach told me very early on, like, what Success Club was, how many people I needed to help, and I told her that I wanted to be full-time as fast as possible, and she said SC10 is where it's at, I was like, okay, done. That's it. Like, I think that's why going back to the beginning of knowing what your end of year goals are, knowing what those smaller monthly goals are is so important, because it makes anything more attainable and not so scary and so overwhelming, right? But hitting Success Club 10 is going to obviously grow your income faster because you're helping more people, but you're going to be making more in commissions. So you're making at least $200 a month in commission if people buy a basic all access challenge pack, right? If you sell 5 challenge packs, you're going to get a fast start bonus. So you're getting $100 fast start bonus, right? And then when you're hitting Success Club 10, you're getting Success Club leads from the lead programs the next month, which also you have the ability to earn commissions off of orders from customers that Beachbody gives you. So I posted a graphic in the team page before about the breakdown of that if you are curious and you want to go look at it. But just to kind of say it again, like, if you're not clear on what you should be aiming for or what pace you're wanting to work out, reach out to your coach so that they can help you kind of set that benchmark goal and help you break down what you need to do to get there every month. And don't be afraid, guys. If you're struggling, don't be afraid. Like, don't just back out and like go sit in a corner and think like, I'm struggling. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm inconsistent. I fell off my journey. I haven't gotten on team calls. I'm not doing power hours, like whatever. Don't struggle and suffer in silence. Like, reach out and ask for help so that we can help you get re-engaged and help you get back on track and give you some ideas of things that you can do that might help you move forward in your business, right? Or if you are doing well in your business and there's something that you really want to be doing that someone else is doing, reach out and say, how do I do what you do? How did you create that? Whatever. How are you posting that on social media? Like, how are you, whatever? Ask. That's the best way to learn, is asking. And I'm just going to close this out, and I would love for everyone to touch on it. And if anybody else wants to unmute and talk about it, but just kind of bringing this all together is the belief and the power in what we do as coaches. I could talk about this for hours, but I can tell you that when I go on, like when I get home from a trip like we just went on, and I get to see all the girls on our team face to face, and a lot of them meet their spouses and just spend time with them and like hang out with them, not in like a coach training type of a setting, right? And like, you just have so much fun. And they're like,
Kelly, you're not muted, and I just totally saw that.
Me?
oh my God.
Because I'm excited.
That, like, guys, you make the most. I personally think that one of the most powerful parts of this business is the community and the connection and the friendships and the like-minded people. But also you have the aspect that like, we're all on this trip together, right? And all I'm thinking this whole time is like, all of the sweaty selfies, all of the Facebook posts, all of the rejection, all of the no's, all of the invites, all of, you know, the coach sneak peeks, all of the things that come into one lump sum of like, it's always full circle for me at events to be with people on our team and know all of the intention and the heart and the hustle that is behind things like this actually coming to fruition, and the goals that everybody has pushed for to get there, right? And the time that they've poured into helping people. And at the bottom, at the, you know, basic level, is that you have to have a solid belief in what we do as coaches and our mission as coaches and the potential of the opportunity and how it can serve your life, and more importantly, how it can serve other people that you're sharing this with, and just the profound impact that we have the ability to make as coaches. And I just think that it's so rad that we get to make an impact, and in turn we get to change our own lives. So I just really wanted to highlight the importance of the belief in really that bigger picture, of what makes all of this come all together as one. So if anybody wants to add to that.
I just need to jump on something. Did you really just say rad?
I did say rad.
Okay, thank you.
No, Dana, I'll just a quick final tip of me. I think it just to, like, obviously coming back from this, anytime I go to any event, whatever it is, whether it's a Super Saturday, whether it's, you know, off a team call, whether it's, obviously this trip is huge, you always walk away feeling engaged, so empowered, so excited again. We all, even coaches that have been doing this for a long time, we all go through periods of, what the hell are we doing? Did we make this right decision? We all have doubts. Every single person at this point has had doubts. But I think seeing the reality of what we do and the potential that we have been given, and just the fact that we were able to go on this trip and treated like queens. My husband turned to me in a foam party, and his words were, how are we going to make this grow? You know, so like, it's for someone that wasn't 100 unsure. I think being present at these things and getting your butt to these things in general, you feel so lucky, and you feel just so, I mean, I feel truly like it's another family, like truly it's another family. And, you know, I just want everyone, all of you guys, to feel that. And I know you all can get to these events because, you're amazing coaches. So just get your bum there and work for it. Cause it's the most rewarding job I've had. And I know it sounds bad, and I'm a nurse. So,
I also
that's
just,
my closing.
I agree, but I think that like, getting to any experience that you have the ability to, not just necessarily a Success Club trip, but like getting to Super
No, it's
Saturdays, making
Super
it
Saturday.
to go to Summit, like getting to local events and like getting involved in the community, because you just feel so different when you're actually like in the real deal, in the flesh, not behind a computer screen, sharing an experience.
Right.
You can't really compare. Stephanie, I love that. Looks like we have a one-on-one call to talk about. Hey, Help, I like your idea.
Dana.
All right, ladies, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for...
Is Tracy trying to say something? Are you trying to say something?
Oh.
Yeah, I was just piping in because, you know, after going to Summit this past year and meeting everybody, and, you know, like I followed Stephanie's footprints where it's like, you know, getting involved and hitting Success Club. And of course, you know, I've just like disappeared over the past year, but I'm coming to Summit. You know, I've just kind of lost, you know, my coach and my upline, they had a difficult year too. So it's like, I've just kind of fallen off the path, but Laura, it meant the world to me when you said that everybody else, you know, that you're all our coaches. So I'll probably come around and ask more everybody. So I'm excited to see y'all in June, and going to kick this back into gear here.
Yes,
we are all here, Tracy. We're all your coaches.
Tracy, you can write any of us at all times. That goes
Anytime.
for anybody on this team. If you're struggling and in the event that something happens, because life does happen and you need more support, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Definitely.
We're a team, guys. We're not individuals. We're teams. Like, reach out. And I'm so excited to hear you're coming, Tracy.
Yay, I can't wait to see y'all.
Oh, I love
Well, I was glad I was able to jump onto the call. Thank you so much.
We're happy to see your face.
All right.
And I'm so happy to hear you're coming to Summit, because I was sad when I saw you say you might not.
Well, one of my fellow flight attendant friends, she's a Beachbody coach too. And, you know, we've got a major thing going on because Continental and United are finally, the flight attendants are going to start working together, and it's going to affect the ability to work the normal schedule that I normally do. So she's like, we need to kick this into gear, because this is, you know, come October, I don't know what's going to go on. The shit's going to hit the fan. So, but she's like, we got to start working this. And so yeah, we're gonna jump in a car and drive to Indianapolis. So she's gonna be staying with me, and we'll see you then.
Yay!
Sounds like you have some new motivation to run with.
Yeah. It's gonna be a new why.
Yep.
So,
And your why changes over time, that's for sure, as life changes.
yeah. Well, y'all get some rest.
All right, ladies. Well, love you guys. We'll see you next
Thanks for getting on.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.